So we're going to talk today about the top parachains, in my opinion, on Polkadot. I think it is an undervalued ecosystem. There's some fantastic assets here. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into them. Some of them I don't really know much about, but you can tell they're going to become something significant in the long-term future of cryptocurrency. And utilizing the security protocol of Polkadot and how it works, and hopefully over time the core time feature will bring more good solid assets into the game and even scale these existing assets into much bigger things, right? This is a website called parachains.info. Feel free to check it out. If you tick parachains and go to Polkadot, you can see all of them. There's some really, really good projects here, right? Obviously, do your own research, not financial advice. These are parachains. Some of them are very risky. A lot of these, probably all of them, have actually came out at a terrible time, which is why I think the crowd loan system didn't really work. So a lot of them are butchered in price. Doesn't mean they're bad. Do your research. Check to see if they're active though, right? The first one and the most obvious one on this list that is low market capitalization is Interlay Network. Now, I did a video yesterday talking about really good solid assets. I mentioned two that are literally parachains, essentially. So they're not going to be mentioned in this video. So don't come in the comments. Just checking. So Interlay is essentially a programmable layer between Bitcoin and a multi-chain ecosystem. Basically DeFi for Bitcoin, which you're probably thinking, pretty interesting, right? So when we look at that, DeFi for Bitcoin, one-stop shop for all decentralized Bitcoin finance, featuring Bitcoin swaps, lending, and staking. Woohoo! Very, very interesting, I know. When we look at this, the DeFi volume of it is relatively high versus the market capitalization, which is a huge factor here. And if you go onto the app as well, it's just simple, it's just clean, and it just works. Bear with me, let me just plonk in a password so I can go into the application itself, because why not? So this is the app. Super simple, easy to use. Bifrost has something similar in terms of a very, very easy situation to use. You've got all kinds of stuff. You can lend your Bitcoin, you can stake it, you can swap it, you can, well, staking I think is coming soon actually, but you get the idea. But majorly undervalued. As I say, do your own research, get your head around it. The next one is something that you may well have heard of because it's getting hyped up quite a lot. The big T, Bittensor. It is a Polkadot parachain. You probably might not even know that. This was a parachain from February 2023. I think it raised $500,000 worth of DOT. Really came out at a bad time in terms of a parachain, but now it's live on the World Wide Web. You can see how crazy it's going. Now, all-time low, 14th of May, $30. It is now currently $461, which is freaking crazy. Now, I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to pretend I know everything about this because I really don't. It's new and I'm shiny to it, but ultimately it's all about a pure market for artificial intelligence, right? This is quite technical. There's a lot of stuff you need to know about this one. The website isn't the greatest neither, I will put that out there. It's just like a big splodge in a page, but there's a lot of things going on to it. So please do your research. This is a really interesting proposition for the future and could be, in my opinion, a massive, massive cryptocurrency asset due to the hype around it, obviously artificial intelligence and stuff, but you can see how crazy the price has gone on this. Crazy. So there's a lot of hype, but which is obviously good for the Polkadot ecosystem, right? The next one, and a very obvious one, Moonbeam. Moonbeam could become an absolute juggernaut as well, mainly because it works. And when you look at Ethereum, and Ethereum 2.0 is absolutely, I'm not going to go any further, but you get the idea. If you've ever used this on your MetaMask and you've used a network, it is incredibly good, right? I will be critical of it. Their website is absolutely shocking. Please, guys, invest in something to make the website look a bit better, because when we go through this video, you're going to notice some really pretty websites and it looks, In terms of connections, there's a lot of things happening on here. As you can imagine, Ethereum virtual machine, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff, like loads. And I can go on to a website called Downtown Moonbeam. 353 projects on here. building nicely. Moonwell, for example, has got a lot of traction in my community. You got Stellar Swap as well. There's a lot of things happening where you can see multiple things, which is good to see. And Moonbeam is very, very easy to use. So it's very, very good, and it could do very well when the herd come back, and certainly could be a massive infrastructure jigsaw piece for the Polkadot ecosystem. OriginTrail, a mission from yesterday's video, which I would have easily put it on there, but I thought dedicated video towards parachains would be pretty good. And this has been out for a while, as you can see, but now it is a parachain. It's utilizing the security features of Polkadot and all kinds of good stuff, right? This is probably the most obvious pick, in my opinion, for enterprises and stuff like that in terms of potential AI. You got supply chains and all kinds of stuff. And when I scroll down here, you're going to see this very, very clearly. What is actually happening here? So their partnerships are ridiculous. Oracle, pretty big, right? You've obviously got Parity for obvious reasons, which is Polkadot. You got all these. Yeah, there's a lot here. There's a lot of companies you've probably heard of and seen, like, love, hate, whatever, right? So when we talk about enterprises in terms of how this will work, this is very, very much in line with real world assets. Could be a very big tick in the box for the future. And this is a Polkadot parachain. This, you know, similar to sort of VeChain in a way, been out for a while, got a good team. And yeah, like when we look at this, you think to yourself, well, this could be very, very interesting for real world adoption. So yeah, pretty much up there. Centrifuge, probably one of the better assets at the moment on Polkadot for DeFi bits and bobs. Real world assets, DeFi. Their token value locked is really high. You can see as well, low cost of capital for small and mid-sized enterprises, you know, to try and bring a lot of onboarding into the ecosystem. When we look at this, real world finance, there's a lot of stuff, as you can imagine. Look at that. Not a bad ecosystem, not bad at all. TVL growth, huge. Tokenized assets, a lot, right? So when we talk about this, yeah, this is a buzzword, we know. But ultimately, we've seen from the past with Luna and stuff, where things just go whoop. Real world assets to back up things is really, really useful. When we look at how much market capitalization this is, 233, it's not bad at all. And, you know, when we talk about this and DeFi, in my opinion, could be absolutely huge in the future still. You know, we've had a bit of a cyclical cycle with it, but ultimately there's a lot of good things here. And yeah, I really like the look of Centrifuge. It's definitely up there in terms of something that I would definitely look at. And I have been talking, and I might actually reveal what my plan is for the future in terms of a little portfolio on DOT potentially. But I'll let you know in a second. Wink, wink. Alpha Zero. Have a little bit of this for my Patreon portfolio. I've got a Patreon earner portfolio, and Alpha Zero is one of them. Not done a lot since its release, but ultimately it's coming out at a decent time. It is developing. Now, this is more a privacy-enabled layer 1 blockchain, and it is very, very quick. It is a pretty big beast. You can probably compare this to like a Rose, and it is starting to get a lot of traction. Its finality speed is ridiculously fast. Its cost per transaction is ridiculous. The accounts are growing, and it's got obviously the element of privacy on there. So this could well be very much a competitor to Rose, and it's on the Polkadot parachain ecosystem, which is good for shared security and all that kind of good stuff, and ultimately interoperability. So there's a lot of stuff going on for this, and it's kind of very, very encouraging to see where things can go in the future with this one too. But yeah, you can see here, deployable, secure, low cost, ZK, privacy enabled. Obviously, yeah. So there we are. Parachains complete, essentially. There's a lot more out there, we know. There's a lot that I've missed, the obvious ones. But at the end of the day, right, you can go and do your own research and have a little look at each one, okay? There is other projects out there. There is projects within the parachains as well as little side ones, such as Moonwell, etc. on Moonbeam. A lot of infrastructure there to look at. Please do your own research. Anyways, if you like my stuff, let me know. Subscribe. And let me know if you like the Polkadot ecosystem.